Hey, what up YouTube? It's your boy Brown from ENC coming at you guys once again with a deck profile. This one's going to be over my personal deck for the zombie archetype. This does include the new structure deck of Zombie Horde. I'm really stoked to finally get these cards in our hands, and I'm just going to give you a fun deck to play. Nothing competitive, just something fun to play locally or against some friends on Yu-Gi-Oh! Friday nights. So starting off, we do have a Glow Up Bloom. This is from the new structure deck. This is a level 1 zombie tuner with a graveyard effect. So basically what this one does is when this card is sent to grave, you can banish this card and either add a level 5 or higher zombie type monster from deck to hand, or if Zombie World is already active on the field, you can go ahead and special summon that level 5 monster to the field. So this acts as your searcher in a way. It lets you go straight into that high level zombies straight from your deck to field. We're gonna go over as far as what level 5 or higher monsters I believe benefit heavily from this, but I'm overly stoked to get something like this that can easily benefit from graveyard and lets me get straight into like a heavier monster if I need to right on the first turn. So Glow Bloom at 2. So moving on to the next one. Now this is also one of the new cards that just came out, Necroworld Banshee. Now this is something that a lot of zombie players have been waiting for. This is another graveyard effect zombie. It's level 4 zombie type effect monster. What she does is basically, if she is on the field, she protects your zombie world, which is already active. So zombie world cannot be targeted for card effects by either player, so that helps keeps it on the field. Now if you don't have zombie world but you have her, and let's say she's on the field, you can banish her either from field or from grave, and this is a quick effect, and you can activate a zombie world from deck to field. Again, this is kind of like a terraforming slash field barrier at the same time. And again, level 4, which really helps with our synchros or XCs in the zombie world. I'm really stoked to have this one again because, like I said, it helped me get straight into zombie world again. First turn, mid game, doesn't matter, she's in grave. If I picture it with Kazuki or if I picture it with Unizombie, right off the back, I can go into getting my zombie world. And again, if you already have zombie world on the field because of her and use Glow Up Bloom, you can go straight into special summoning the level 5 zombie type monster right off the back. Again, it's a one turn kind of deal. Alright, now the next card I do have is Doom King Bellatrix. Now I'm really stoked about this card. I run 2 of them because I don't want to see them in my hand. I'd rather see this card in my deck or in the graveyard. I don't want them in my hand, so that's why I run 2 because I don't want to see that too often. And now this card's effect is really epic. If this card's in the graveyard during the standby phase, if either player happens to have a field card on the field, this card can special summon itself back onto your field and face up defense. So that's really cool. If you don't have any monsters in the field, let's say for whatever reason you don't have anything to set up board, this guy steps up your board because you have a field card, your opponent might have a field card, and boom, there you go. Now the other effect of this guy is pretty cool also. If another zombie type monster activates its effect once per chain, you can activate either one of these 2 effects that he has, which is negate an effect, or you can banish 1 card from field or graveyard. Now that is really useful. So let's say your opponent activates an effect and it's their turn, not your turn. You can go ahead and activate this guy's effect. You can negate that effect, or you can go ahead and just banish a card from field or grave. Now I've used that second effect numerous times when I have a monster on the field that I just can't get over, and let's say that's the only monster my opponent has. I'd rather just banish it than negate whatever effect it's about to do. I'll let the effect go through, but you know what, that monster's gone, you can't activate it. Or let's say I'd rather keep that monster in the field, I'll go ahead and just negate it. And it's once per chain. Now keep in mind you can't activate both effects twice. You can only activate one of the effects per turn each. Well, once per chain each. So just be careful as far as what you want to do in that order. But again, this is very powerful. Now if you have Zombie World on field, keep in mind Glow Up Bloom is in grave. You banish Glow Up Bloom and that gets you Doom King Bellatrix onto the field already. Let's say that's first turn. So that's a really cool combo right off the bat you can definitely go into. Now the next guy that I do have, a lot of you guys are already familiar with him. It's good old Kazuki, Mitsuki's brother. Kazuki's epic effect is basically you can go ahead and chunk one monster from deck to grave. It's basically a Foolish Burial. Now if this card gets sent to grave, you can go ahead and banish another zombie card monster from your grave, and you special summon one zombie from hand to field. But this is your Foolish Burial. It's really cool. It basically lets you chunk whatever monsters you need to grave. And with these new cards that came up, you have two more options that you can pitch to grave besides good old Mizuki to special summon back to the field. Now moving on to the one and only, needs no introduction, greatest of all time, Mizuki. Now Mizuki, I know what you guys say, oh my god, he runs two. Yes, I only run two, I don't need a third one. I've seen that having a third one, it is beneficial sometimes, but in this case I don't need three. Two is just enough. It lets me go into my plays, bring back those monsters that I need, and with the new support we have, it's very easy to bring these monsters back. You end up banishing a little bit more monsters than actually keeping them in grave, so that's why you don't really want to see three. It kinda don't see the benefit there yet. Now the next card, once again, it's a other old school, good old Plague Spreader Zombie. Now, this is your level 2 tuner. What this one does is if this card is in a graveyard, you can return one card from hand to the top of your deck, special this card to field, and then it gets banished once it leaves the field again. Alright, so moving on to one of the stapled cards in all zombies is good old Trinary Solitaire. Now this card only run 2, and right off the back, Unit Zombie only run 2. Everybody knows the good combo of these two. Basically, you pop Trinary itself to bring out Unit Zombie, and then Unit Zombie you pitch Mizuki to grave, and then you go into Omega. Well, in this format that I'm running, I only need 2. I feel that having 3 of each really is not necessary. I might do 3 of Solitaire, I'm not sure yet. I'm still working out the kinks on that. But basically, pitch Solitaire, bring out Uni's effect. You can pitch from deck to grave, or pitch from hand to grave, target a monster, boost its level. Now the good thing about Unit Zombie, it does let you go into the other zombie monsters which have been released. So typically everybody goes for the number 1 GOAT, which is Mizuki. But let's say you don't need Mizuki that time. Let's say we want to go into Glow of Blue and get a card from deck to hand, or Banshee and add that zombie world from deck to field. So Unit Zombie gives you that option of just going into those 3 monsters right off the back. There's no need to have only 3 and 3. Now, moving on to some of the support that I have for this one, it's still going to keep zombie. I try to keep my card decks consistent as far as pure. I don't really like mixing them up. So with that said, one of the support that I chose was vampires. In this case, I only run 1 Vampire, Scarlet Scourge. This is a level 6 zombie type monster, 2200 attack, 2200 defense. Now what this guy does is whenever he's normal specialed, you get to pay 1000 life points and then special summon 1 vampire monster from your deck to the field. Now this guy's pretty cool because his other effect is if this card destroys one of your opponent's monster by battle, you can special summon that monster from the graveyard to your side of the field. So once again, it goes into the zombie mentality of just spamming the field. With Sombra on the field, I feel like we get that field control once again, and Scourge really helps us out with that. Now, the cool thing about Scourge is it is a level 6, and with the new cards have just been released, he is a little bit easier to bring out to field than keeping him in your hand. So obviously one of the ways you can bring them onto the field is using the newly released Glow Up Bloom. Now Glow Up Bloom, obviously you have engrave, you pitch, and you get Scarlet Scourge to field if Zombie World's already on the field, or add it to hand, whatever benefits you at that time. But Glow Up Bloom brings you out. Next set, Vampire Fraulein. Everybody loves this card or hates it, those who once against it. Basically, when a monster declares battle, Vampire Fraulein can be special from your hand to the field. And defense. Now her effect is basically you can give up as many life points in multiples of 100 up to 3k, and you can boost one of your zombie type monster attack and defense by that amount. Now if this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you get to special summon that monster to your side of the field again. So Fraulein is kind of like a hand trap for zombies. I think it's really cool having her in hand. I don't really want to see her in grave much. I rather keep her in her hand. So opening up with her is pretty cool, especially if you have nothing else to go into. Alright, moving right along, we do have Vampire Retainer and Vampire Familiar. These are my two others vampire cards that I run. These are your searchers for the vampire cards. We have Retainer, which basically you pay 500 life points when this card is special summoned. You add a vampire spell or trap from deck to hand. Now, Familiar, same effect, you pay 500 life points, and what you do is you add a vampire card, vampire monster from deck to hand. So these two are basically your searchers for the other two zombie monsters that I run. You just gotta pay that 500 life points for either or, and you get either the spell or trap card, or if you want to use Familiar, you go ahead and get that Frolin or Scourge from deck to hand. So again, it's a good way to search into your two vampires that I run as far as a level up. Gives us our reach into our opponent's field and graveyard. So some of those effects that you can activate from field to going into your opponent's graveyard, well, now you can with Sunbelt. And let's say some of your opponent's decks will run on archetype, like they have to say as far as spellcaster or cyborg, or they have to be machine. Well, not anymore, they're zombies. So there you go, that takes care of that on its own. Now Foolish Burial, obviously simple as it is, pitch all those monsters from deck to grave, whichever one you need. Masuki, Glow, Bloomore, Banshee, self-explanatory. As far as running, you only need one. Now we are banishing a few cards, so obviously you want to run Burial from a different dimension, bring those cards back to grave. Call of the Mummy, keep it on one again. This card lets you special summon a zombie type monster from hand to field if you control no other monsters at the time. Now let's say you have a high level monster in your hand at the time. You can activate this card, special summon it from your hand to the field, and then just normal summon right afterwards if you have another level 4 or lower monster. So it kind of acts like a double summon. I really love Call of the Mummy. It's super epic as far as letting me open up and give me a good board from the get-go. Since you are special summoning, obviously Vampire Familiar and Vampire Retainer help you with special summoning and then getting into those other vampires. Now you can always special Retainer and then activate their effects, and then normal Unizombie. And then obviously you're getting either one of the two vampires you need at the time because of Retainer, and then with Unizombie you can pitch Glow Bloom to grave and go from there, or you can pitch Banshee to grave and go from there. So Call of Mummy just lets you set up so good if you want to just pitch Masuki and bring back any of those monsters, or just set up for the next turn. Like I said, Call of Mummy, super epic. Obviously Twin Twisters, self-explanatory, it's a zombie deck, you want those monsters in grave, so pitch, pop 2, back row, and that takes care of that. Only one run, no need for two. My next card that I do run for 2 is Zombie Necronize. Now this is one of the new cards that we just got our hands on the new structure deck. Now with Zombie Necronize, if a level 5 or higher zombie type monster is on the field, target one monster your opponent controls, take control of it until the end phase. During your main phase of this card's in your graveyard, you can shuffle one of your banished zombie monsters into the deck, and if you do, set this card but banish it when it leaves the field. So this is basically mind control, brain control for zombies. It has to be level 5 or higher on the field, so don't forget that. Obviously if you have Zombie World, that keeps you in reach as far as your opponent's field. Now if you have Doom King and Bellatrix on the field, activate Zombie Necronize. You can go ahead and just take control of your opponent's monster and tribute it, pitch it, link, exceed, whatever you want, but that takes care of your opponent's monster. So again, it's like a mind control as far as that. Very powerful card, really stoked to have this. It just gives me that extra reach into my opponent's cards and being able to use his cards for my benefit. Now, in the meta that we run nowadays, obviously everybody runs hand traps. So to combat that, Call of the Grave, self-explanatory. Get rid of those cards that are just annoying you and prevent your opponent from using them next turn. So anti-hand traps. That's basically how you take care of them. Lure of Darkness, that's your draw power, since obviously everything is dark except for the Masuki and Gizugi. But you know, draw 2, banish 1. So this is your draw power. It just lets you go into heavier plays in case you open up with anything. Now that takes care of the spells. Moving on to our traps. Return of the Zombies. Now this card is really epic. Basically banish 1 zombie monster on the field, then special summon 1 zombie monster from the graveyard of a player who had that monster banished. Now, if your opponent has a card you don't like and you have Zombie World, you can go ahead and banish that card off the field, but you keep in mind they're going to have to special summon something from their grave to their side of the field. If you have a monster you don't like yourself, or you don't need it, you can activate this effect, banish that monster from field, and then special summon 1 from your graveyard to your side of the field. That also has the same effect as Necronize. If this card's in the grave, main phase, you can return it, set it, and then you return 1 of your banished zombie monsters from your banish zone into your deck. But Return of the Zombies, kind of like a Book of Life in a sense, but now you're banishing from field instead of banishing from grave to special summon. But it's still useful in the sense that you can banish 1 of your opponent's cards you don't like. Moving on, I do run 2 heavy Storm Dusters. Self-explanatory, basically back row support, you know, get stuff out of the field, get it out of there. Now since you do run vampires in this deck, I do run 3 Vampire Domination. Now Vampire Domination is your Solar Strike, your Solar Warning in the deck. Now Vampire Domination, as long as you have a vampire monster on the field, you can negate any spell, trap, or monster effect that is activated. Now if you were to negate a monster effect, you gain that monster's original attack as your life points. Now with it being so easy to bring these zombie cards into the field, Vampire Domination is super powerful, very useful. It's gotten me over tight spots so many times. So as long as you have Frowlin on the field, or let's say you have Scourge on the field, you can definitely go into Domination and just dominate the field with those 2. Start negating anything that they activate. Let's say they activate Regeki, Domination will stop that. It is a counter. It can go against, let's say, a Mirror Force, Domination will stop it. Or let's say your opponent activates a monster effect and you don't like what it's about to do, activate Domination, negate that effect, destroy the card, plus you get those life points back. So I think it's super cool in this deck, since I do run just enough vampire monsters to actually take advantage of this card here. Again, running at 3, I rather have it than anything else as far as warning or strike. 2 Vampire Awakening. Now this card basically lets you special summon 1 vampire monster from deck to field, but it gets destroyed at the end of the turn. So this again lets you get out of tight situations as far as bringing back some vampire monster from your deck to the field. Let's say you don't have anything first go, you set this card next turn, or your opponent's reactivated, you can go ahead and special summon 1 of the 2 searchers, which is Retainer or Familiar, activate their effects of the 500 life points each, and that lets you go into Frowlin or Scourge. Now the good thing, if you happen to have Vampire Domination set and you bring back Familiar, you can go ahead and activate that Domination while 1 of those 2 are in the field. So that takes care of the main monster deck. We're gonna go into our extra deck now. So obviously Vampire Sucker is our link. This is my main link. It just takes 2 links, 2 zombie type monsters. Her effect is if a zombie monster is special summoned to the field, you draw a card. Once per turn, you get special summon 1 monster from your opponent's grave onto the field, and then that monster becomes a zombie type monster. Vampire Sucker, super epic, and it gives you those diagonal points. Moving on to the next ones, we do have Nightmare Phoenix, self-explanatory, Nightmare Cerberus, self-explanatory again, Saruya Skull Dread, super easy to bring out, especially since we do have so many cards to spam the field with. So that takes care of our links for the extra deck. Moving on to the next set. Exceeds, Denfear, Vampire, Sheridan. So adds to the Vampire flow of it. Pretty cool Exceed. Good old Lancelot. Instant classic for zombies. I always run them. And number 22, Sami Stein, another staple in classic. Don't really see how much, kind of see him around mid game. That's usually when I actually end up using them much. But that's only Exceeds I run. And then the next card, Omega, friendliest card you can run in any Samba deck. Kind of sad he had dropped down to 1. Let's start with that. Kaiser Dragon. This is an instant classic as well, back from the good old times. Revived King Hideas, another classic. Plague Spreader is needed to synchro summon him, keep that in mind. And Archfiend Zombie Skull, again, the trio, the ultimate Plague Spreader synchros. Now, Red Eye Zombie Necro Dragon. This card is amazing. I'm really happy and stoked to finally get our hands on it. This is that Red Eye Zombie Dragon that we got originally revamped. 2400 attack, 2k defense, gains attack according to how many zombies are in the field and grave. Both opponents and your field and graveyard are affected by this. Also, if a zombie monster would be destroyed by battle, you can also special summon it to your side of the field. Now, Zombie World plays a huge part in this as far as turning everything in the field and grave to zombies, so take advantage of that as well. Moving on to our final card of the set for the extra deck, Shiranui Showa Saga. Space Planetary, level 8 monster, heavy beat stick. That's all I can really say much about it. So that's it, guys. That's it for my personal deck profile for zombies. Please comment, like, subscribe, let us know what you think. If you want to see any more deck profiles, let us know in the comments below what you want to see next. And thanks for watching. Deuce.